This weekend, rallying returned to Donington for the first time since 1998. The last drivers to win a stage here were Colin and Alistair McRae. This time, however, the event would be contained entirely at Donington. The Rainworth Skoda Dukeries rally forced from its usual forest slot and taking on a whole new format. It may have been 17 years since rallying last took place here, but with an entry of 80 cars, it would be inevitable that some of those competing in 1998 would also be competing here today. Brian Bell in that Focus WRC being just one of those, although he would be hoping for better than the 29th fastest time he recorded back then. Onto the stages then here at Donington, and stage 1 would see Jason Lepley and Howard Pridmore in the lead. Sadly for the pair, it will be short-lived when they retire with electrical problems. So that left the door open for David and Alice Tin to take the lead, and a good one as well, 16 seconds at the end of 2 stages. Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones lead the way in Class 3 and lie in second overall. A great start to the rally, but the times were close. Chasing down Hodgson were Paul Alexander and Tom Woodburn, second in the class, third overall at this stage, not helped by being clipped by another car on the hairpin and losing a little time on the grass. And it will be a further 6 seconds back to Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowlands, the pair leading the way in Class 4 from 4th on the leaderboard. And in 5th place, it will be another 7 seconds back to second in that class, Graham Bell and Russ Radford in the Escort. The times were even closer for Paul Diamond and Stephen Cox. They end stage 2 in 6th place overall, third in the class, just 1 second behind Bell. John and Rhys Yates bring the car out for a tarmac event after its debut on the Cambrian, this time with Rhys in the passenger seat, going okay so far with 7th overall. Martin Stockdale and Gary Miller look to be struggling for grip on some occasions this morning, but they get to the end of the second stage with 8th overall. It would, however, be a place they had to share with Oliver Hopkins and Ashley Trimble, who reached the end of this loop with an identical time to Stockdale. And in fact, so did Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan. The Civic pair reached the end of the loop with 10th place and the lead, of course, in Class 2. In the top of the class is outside the top 10 then, it will be second in Class 2 behind Bliss for Alex Kirk-Wiley and Sasha Herriott, a few places back overall in 22nd. Things will be close in Class 1, about as close as you could get in fact, with Jonathan Hudson and A.D. Collins coming out on top in that class for now. But it will be on an identical overall time to Andrew Saunders and Steve Griffin, second in the class for now and all to play for still. And just the one crew in Class 0. Emma Bennison and Paul Webb in the Micra, the only ones in that class, in 67th on the leaderboard. Sadly, we'd lose Paul Rees and Paul Briggs in stage 1. No explanation needed as to why they stopped and would go no further. So at the end of the first 2 stages here at the Dukeries Rally, it will be David and Alice Tin leading the way, with the battle for the rest of the places looking very close behind. On to the next few stages and plenty of change in the results, but not the lead. David and Alice Tin continue to lead the way, extending that to 35 seconds now. Things were certainly still close in the rest of the podium places though, but with different faces. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowlands move up the results to take up second place now, leading the way in Class 4. Sadly for Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones, it will be a drop to third. But there was only a second between them and Woodhouse, so it was far from over. They still lead the way in Class 3 as well. Paul Alexander and Tom Woodburn give a little caution on the infield section of the stage the first time through, which may have been the reason for the drop down to 4th, but things were still going well, lying second in Class 3 for now in the Escort. Ashley Field and Ryan Vickers move into the top 10 now. A spin on the opening stage dropped them down the results, but now they were moving the right way again and showing the new car's potential. Unfortunately, the move up the field meant a drop down to 6th for Graham Bell and Russ Radford, still just 6 seconds behind the Darien though, and lying 3rd in Class 4 now. And it will be a move down to 7th for Paul Diamond and Stephen Cox. No problems to report here either, just the movement of others around them. They do drop to 4th in the class at this stage too. Julian Jones and Mike Herritz make a move in the right direction, jumping into the top 10 at this stage into 8th overall. Still no change to their third in Class 3 though. And there's no change for Oliver Hopkins and Ashley Trimble. They remain in 9th place overall, but with John and Rhys Yates dropping a little time, it moves them up to 2nd in Class 5. And there will be change in 10th place as well, as Matt Downer and Mark Gaunt move a few places up the results to round out our top 10 at this stage in that escort. Sadly, that move meant Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan move out of the top 10. They do, however, still hold the lead in Class 2 in the Civic. There'd be change to those chasing Bliss down as well. Chris Platt and Mick Robinson lying 2nd in that class now, but they were still a few places back on the overall results. The reason for the change will be the loss of Alex Kirk-Wiley and Sasha Herriott. They retire from that 2nd place on stage 6. Those identical times in Class 1 would change, with Andrew Saunders and Steve Griffin taking the advantage in the class now. And for Jonathan Hudson and AD Collins, it will be 2nd. The gap between the pair was growing now though. Unfortunately, we'd lose Andy Fraser and Paul Williams in this loop, the car not sounding too good as it came past us on stage 4. So at the halfway point, there's no change at the top, but plenty of battles going on through the rest of the field. On to the last part of the day then, and a look at the final results here at the Dukeries Rally at Donington Park. And no problems for Emma Bennison and Paul Webb being that lone crew in Class 0. There's change in Class 1 in these stages as Kevin and Sarah Hutchinson step up to take 2nd place in that class at the end of the rally. And for Andrew Saunders and Steve Griffin, it will be the class victory. They held the lead over the afternoon stages and took the win. Change once again in Class 2 as Chris Gravestock and Mark Harmer end the event with 2nd in the class after Chris Platt unfortunately drops down the results. There would, however, be no change to the lead. Having led the class from the start, it will be Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan taking victory, as well as finishing in 14th on the leaderboard. On to the top 10, and it will be 10th place for Andrew Bayliss and Chris Sharp-Simkis. A good result for the pair, considering some problems later in the rally caused them to stop in the stage at one point, losing some valuable time. Oliver Hopkins and Ashley Trimble remain consistent all day, remaining in 9th place to the finish, a result that gets them 2nd in Class 5 as well. And Matt Downer and Mark Gaunt gain a place in the second half of the day, managing to finish the rally with 8th place overall. For Julian Jones and Mike Herriott, it will be 7th. The pair having a good afternoon to take 3rd in Class 3 this weekend and also claim the Heart of England Championship with this finish. John and Rhys Yates make a move back up the results in that striking R5 Fiesta in the second half of the event, eventually finishing 6th overall. That result gets them the class win. It's a move into 5th place overall for Graham Bell and Russ Radford. They gain the position and end the event with 3rd in Class 4 as well. 14 seconds ahead in that class battle were Paul Diamond and Stephen Cox. 2nd in Class 4, 4th overall. Was a great end to the day for the pair. Dramatically, the top of the results would see some big changes, with the loss of Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowlands when the gear linkage snaps in Stage 5. And an even bigger change for David and Alice Tin. They go into the final stage of the rally with a 28-second lead, only to blow the engine in the very last stage, missing out on the victory by just yards. For Paul Alexander and Tom Woodburn, they would briefly look like a victory was possible, only to find the lights set up wrong for the final stages in the dark, resulting in slower times. They dropped to 3rd place overall, unable to fully commit. 2nd though in Class 3. So for Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones, it will be a place gained. They reached the end of the rally with a fantastic 2nd place overall and the victory in Class 3. But the comeback of the event has to go to Ashley Field and Ryan Vickers, 39th place after the first stage spin, working their way up to an eventual rally victory at the end of the day's 8 stages. So in its new format, the 2015 Rainworth Skoda Dukeries Rally is complete. Here's a reminder of the final results.
If you go flat out from the wood go, I think you run a high risk of breaking the car. Get caught out on the island, many people have, many people will. The There is no other tarmac like it within the UK. We've got everything from the narrow bumpy roads where you can just fit a car down to the wide, fast parts of the race circuit. At the start of every stage we always chat to one another and say, they've shut the road just for us, let's go and enjoy it. I'm always confident. You have to be confident. Doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish.
Tight, but it'll be done. Always a drama.
Keep left over grid 80, leftish over flat crest 120.
It was alright, we enjoyed it, we're still here, and it's a very long way to go, so I'll stay as I am.
The recent Cambrian Rally attracted a bumper entry, with the regular BTRDA crews being joined by a whole host of others providing some exciting competition. By the midway point, it would be David Bogie leading the way. 18 seconds of a lead was his, and it was clear that he was pushing hard. Luke Francis would be the highest placed BTRDA crew, second place for now after swapping times with Steve Perez, back again in the Focus WRC after a long time out of the seat. Irish crews dominated the next few places on the leaderboard, Josh Moffat being the fastest of those at this stage, just 4 seconds ahead of Jonathan Greer in that DS3, with the newly crowned BTRDA champion co-driver Kirsty Viddick giving him the notes. And it will be the elder of the Moffat brothers just a further 1 second back in 6th place overall, being chased down by Hugh Hunter, out in an R5 car for the first time this weekend on his home rally. Into the afternoon there will be a few changes. Josh and Sam Moffat stay in that same order on the results, but they lose Jonathan Greer from that battle. Josh taking a podium place by the end of the rally. Hugh Hunter manages a good 5th place finish on his debut in the R5 car. The switch back to left-hand drive after a few years didn't seem to be causing too many problems. And the results would also report a loss of Steve Perez. He crashes out of the event in the afternoon stages, meaning that Luke Francis takes 2nd place on his home event. But with the victory never really in doubt, it would be the win for David Bogie, almost a minute of an advantage after a good clean run through the North Wales forests all day. As well as the overall results, this weekend will be the decider in the Silver Star and 1400 championship battles. And despite his best efforts, Callum Black wasn't able to make it the win this time around, retiring in the afternoon stages and meaning that it's Boyd Kershaw coming out on top for Silver Star Championship glory in 2015. And it will be a similar story in the 1400s, with Dave Bennett finally giving the team the championship win they've been after for so long, and after a great close battle all season long as well. You can catch coverage of the BTRDA part of the Cambrian Rally on Motors TV this Friday, and soon afterwards online too. The Peter Lloyd stages would once again see the Junior Championship joining the seniors for an action-packed day of rally competition. And this weekend would be all about the championship for Charlie Barlow and Tom Hutchins. They come out of this round with the victory, but it was a close one. Tom Delaney and Joe Crittenden just behind them, 8 seconds back in 2nd place. In the senior rally, it would be the lead for Nigel Jones and Tracy Davies, right up until the final stage, when sadly they retire with mechanical problems on the Impreza, handing victory to Bob Fowden and Ashley Trimble, who'd been close behind them all day. Coverage of this rally will be coming soon on Special Stage Extra, so keep an eye out on our social media coverage for details of that. Snetterton was the recent venue for the first Endurance Legends event, the UK's first 4-hour classic endurance race. And once the practice and track day sessions were complete, it was a Le Mans style start for the crews in the main race. Unfortunately, it only took a couple of laps for the rain to come down, and the event claimed its first riders. But for those that kept it going, it will be a battle right to the finish, with Team SCERT eventually coming out on top, narrowly beating Team Manx to the victory. Question: what do you get when you take some of the world's top rally cars and rally drivers out of their comfort zone and put them on a racetrack in Wiltshire? You get this. If you follow European rallying, you may have seen the success of the Opel Adam R2 on the European rally stages. It has been trouncing the competition. And today at Rally Day, here on the Ravenel stand, is the debut of the Vauxhall Adam R2, the UK version, which you could see on stages very soon. But right now, you'll see it on special stage, because I'm going to go out with Simon Major, our newly crowned 2015 Asphalt Rally champion, who you'll have seen in that blue and yellow 6R4 on our coverage. He's going to take me out in his Vauxhall Adam R2. Let's see what young drivers progressing through the ranks in British rallying have got to look forward to in this new and exciting R2 car. You have actually done BRC yourself very successfully back in the day. I actually drove one of your cars that you won the KA Challenge in, didn't I, for a few years? So, but, you know, people that watch our asphalt coverage might not realise that you actually started your career in the BRC.
I did. You've obviously got a good memory, because that's a long time ago.
And the equivalent of a car like this, you know, the car at the time was one of the Puma.
Probably the best rally championship I ever did, and the best days, for my own particular rallying was the involvement with the One Mate Championship, with the KA Championship. And it taught me a lot about driving. It is obviously nice to be involved with a manufacturer. Back in them days, you know, like you say, there were a lot of manufacturers involved with One Mate Series and a lot of manufacturer interest in the BRC. And we're hoping we can sort of try to recreate that, try to get some, you know, more manufacturer interest. This is obviously a huge step to that, you know, with the involvement with Vauxhall here. And, you know, the One Mate Championships really do breed good young drivers. You know, that's what it's all about. And that's what we want to do. We want to try to encourage young drivers to get involved with the BRC. I think there's some really positive things going on with the BRC at the moment, with IMS. Ben Taylor's working really hard. The
BRC should be the pinnacle of rallying in the UK, and having spoken to the team, putting it together, Ben Taylor and his team, I have every confidence that it will be again. And projects like this can only help. Thanks, Simon. We'll go out in the car and you can show me what this R2 Adam can do.
Yeah, I'll try if I can learn how to drive one of these things. It's been a long time since I drove a little four-wheel drive car, but
modesty knows no bounds with our new asphalt rally champion. Right, let's go.
Thanks.
you driven the car in anger?
Yeah, it's a good little car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first time.
Oh yeah, first time, yeah. It's good, it's a bit
Really
soft.
good car.
Obviously very soft, but for the rally stages, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah,
really good, really good.
Given the sort of events that are likely to be in the British Rally Championship, this is going to be well, the ones that are in the Rally Championship, it's going to be quite a formidable car in the R2 class.
Oh, for its class, it's going to be awesome, mate. Seriously. Right, might need a bit of help reversing back in here.
Well, let me hop out. And
if you don't mind, if you could drop out and just go in front of me and see me back if you don't mind.
Will do.
All right, you're a very good co-driver, Paul. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Well, if that is the shape of the British Rally Championship next year, then I think I'm on the wrong side of the microphone somehow, the wrong side of the windscreen. Fantastic experience, and what a great story. Vauxhall back in British rallying and in the hands of our brand new crowned Asphalt Rally champion Simon Major. Special Stage once again made the trip to Jersey to cover the two-day rally taking place on the island's fast but narrow lanes. Last year's and multiple times winner of the event Simon Major soon found out how narrow the stages were in places, retiring after parking the Escort in a wall. Both crew members okay, but the victory wasn't going to be theirs this year. There would be battles going on right through the field and plenty of action on the stages, but by the end of day 2, when it really mattered, it was Stevie Leonard topping the timesheets, and he comes out with the win. The trophy staying on the island this year, but there would surely be many looking to take it away in 2016. You can catch coverage of this year's Jersey Rally in our show on the 13th of November. As always, keep an eye on our social media channels for all the details and latest updates from the Special Stage team.
Five right plus in and 6 right continued over clear.